Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Pro Hire Truck TV. And today, as always, or we try and be always, out and about, and we're in the north again and the sun is shining. So we've had several months now of decent weather, which is fantastic and unheard of. Today we're in Media City, which is in Salford or in Manchester, whichever way you want to put it. But certainly it's a pleasure to be out with something that I'm joined with today. Now this is a green vehicle, and we're surrounded by new technology and surrounded by a very pleasant and interesting place to be. But today we've come to look at a van which for me has been certainly a move on from some of the things we've looked at in the recent past, and of course all the other manufacturers are coming to the party with this, but this van particularly is really making a difference to me. Now this morning we drove into Stoke early doors, and I've come from Stoke to Manchester today and been all around Manchester, which we'll be able to share some photos through our other platforms in the next few weeks, and we're going to take it for a further drive and take you on with it. But this van is more than capable of 220 miles, you know, which is, I have to say, game changing. It'll carry 1.2 tons, which is game changing. Over 3 tons of gross vehicle weight, giving you a payload of well north of 1.2 tons, which is outstanding. 220 miles, 1.2 tons, and I've been driving since about 7:30 this morning. This van is now pushing 12 o'clock, and I've still got 180 miles of range. We've done motorway, dual carriageway, and round town, and for that, I've got no trouble using this van. 1 or 2 days, and certainly you can come out of Stoke, deliver all the way around through Manchester, back to Stoke, charge it up, and off and do all the work again. So right in the centre of a great spot in Media City, surrounded by the ITV, BBC, the Lowry, all of those other amazing things. And let's have a look. What a better place to look at a van than we've got here today. So we've got 75 kilowatts. This is a medium range or medium end of the van specification, and certainly everything you need from a van that you can possibly want is in this vehicle. But the real key to this is the load space, the quality, the weight, and certainly when you start looking at this, the unprecedented range for a van of this size. One of the things that I really like about this is the way they've thought this through, and in a lot of the electric vans we look at, range is a massive problem. It's not a problem with this. It can onboard at 100 kilowatts, which is pretty impressive when you consider you've got a 75 kilowatt hour battery. So even if you're at a point where you're nearly flat, you're going to charge this vehicle in 40-50 minutes with the right charger. Something really interesting as well is in here there's a little hidey hole. Me, I've put my cable in it, but actually it pushes right through into the seat, and we'll show you in a minute where you can actually put longer loads into this van than you might first anticipate. Double side loading doors. Double side loading doors makes this the ultimate urban delivery vehicle. So you're not concerned all the time about what side of the road you're parking up on. So you can in, out, and in all fairness, the quality of these doors, blooming good really, to be fair. Charging, as we said, AC, DC charging from 7 kilowatt right the way through 100 kilowatt power. Pretty special. Again, it's a great van. When we look inside the van later and take it for a run where you can see some of the things we're talking about, we'll point out some of the real features that this van has. But one thing I can't get away from is we've been driving this morning. I've done about 50-60 miles. It's got 180 miles left in. I'm actually convinced this van will do more than that, and we're showing at the moment 3.3 miles to the kilowatt hour. So that's our journey today, 3.3 miles to the kilowatt hour, 75 kilowatts of power. It doesn't have to be a rocket science to work that out. This is really north of 200 miles, and north of 200 miles with a very good payload. So we'll pop these doors closed, and why don't we take this for a run round and see just some of the great things that are actually featured in this vehicle, because to be honest with you, I'm really pleased with this. Really pleased.
So here we go. So this is the Citroën ëDispatch Enterprise Professional, which, as I said before, is the medium quality van, if you like, or medium assets on the van. I think that the next one up has got aluminium wheels and sat nav. This one's it plugs into your phone to give you your sat nav, etc., and your music, so Apple CarPlay, etc., or whatever the Android equivalent of that currently is. So this, I'll say, it's a brilliant van. I was able to get the 3.3 miles to the kilowatt hour this morning, showing a range of 170 on it. Now I've been driving this vehicle in eco drive, and it's got several settings. You know, it's got a power setting, which is more of a sport setting, which I'm not sure you need that on a van. It's got normal setting, and it's got an eco setting. So if you look at the power setting, we're showing a range of 161 miles. If you show the normal setting, we move that to 170. If you put this van in eco, you're moving to 177 miles of range, which I think, you know, driving electric vehicles and all the electric vehicles that I try to drive them in an eco mode, and why wouldn't you? Because clearly it's all part of this whole sustainable journey. So electric handbrake, found the wipers, fine. We'll put it into drive. So drive, all the stuff is on here on the gearbox. So on your automatic gearbox, drive, neutral, reverse, and then you've got a park button. So let's put it into drive, and let's take this on a little bit of a journey outside of our friends at Media City. Window down, lovely day. And let's just see if we can move on. So this van, like I said, we just briefed before, it's a 75 kilowatt hour battery pack, which is again fairly decent when you come to a van of this size. Now it does they've two sizes, so they've got the same van with a 50 kilowatt power pack, which tends to be quite similar to some of the others in the range profile with 50 kilowatts. But again, at 50 kilowatts, you know, it's giving you roughly 3 miles to the kilowatt hour, and you can see that on the dashboard today. So 150 miles. This one, 75 kilowatts, you know, at least 200, but you know, I'm fairly convinced that we'll get way north of 220 while we're using this on the project we're taking it on. So again, it's probably one of the first electric vans I've been in, I think, ever, that I'm not concerned about the electric at all. I know what the journey is we're doing today, I know what we want to try and achieve with it, and I know full well it's got more than enough power to do everything we're asking it to do. And I think that the key to this as well is, should we need electricity, we can onboard it at 50 kilowatts if you want to go to 100 kilowatts. But if you can find an Instavolt or wherever it's putting out at 50 kilowatts, you know, and you're down, you've used half your power, you're going to recharge that 50 kilowatts into this in 25 minutes, 30 minutes. It's just not even a concern. I think that's the great thing about the way this van put together. What I love about the van as well, it's got all the little gadgets in there that you'd expect in a modern vehicle, and I think that's been taken straight out of an ICE or the ICE variant and reused in the right way with the amount of power that's available. You know, it drives super well, it's really clear, the steering's fantastic. You know, I just think this has got a winner in hands here. It's not the cheapest of vans, but I think, you know, this is in around 38,000 quid for the spec. It goes up slightly more, and you can have one that's, as I said, that's slightly lesser spec. But with this kind of range, it gives you the ability to do anything that you really want to do with an electric van. Of course, you get so many people saying, well, it's not for me, I can't make this work. If you're operating vans of this size at the moment, with the payload that you want to get of more than a tonne, to operate, and you're doing more than 200 miles a day, every day, this van is capable of doing anything you want it to do. And by doing the more miles you do, of course, the total cost of ownership, or the TCO model, really starts to work well. You know, considering the cost of fuel at the moment, okay, it's fluctuating, the cost of electricity will, but this is a blip. This is a you know, a blip in the world we're living in. But you know, we can charge this van for 14 or 15 pounds and get 200 miles. You know, it's a long way short of what it's going to cost you to fill this full of diesel or equivalent full of diesel and do 200 miles. So, you know, it's super impressive. It's really quick and it's quiet and it's really easy to drive. You know, you put it into D and you just go point it and go. And we're going to have a run through and around Manchester again and put some more miles on this vehicle. The difference between this and one or two of the other vehicles that we've operated with over the last few years is I'm going to struggle to flatten this, where some of the earlier models and some are even one or two recently, you know, a couple of hours and the van's flat. This will do anything you want it to do, and all you need is a little bit of planning. You know, so we're doing so much work with these at the moment, and we've got them from a program standpoint. These are now physically available in our fleet. You know, by anyone who wants to have a try at something like this, we've got them on vehicle on our rental fleet, contract hire, etc., etc. We've gone for the larger battery initially because there's quite a number of the smaller batteries out there, and I really wanted to see just how far we can get with the van of this size, with a battery pack that's as big as that is, and that's a really sizable battery pack at 77 kilowatts. But super impressed, and let's see how we go on, and we'll keep you appraised as we go forward. So again, we're out and about and right in the centre of Manchester now, and again it's zero emission, delivering in the centre of Manchester, and you know, I say it a lot, I never get tired of driving electric vehicles, I just don't. I think it's exciting. I think the quality of the product now is better than ever before. I mean, we have batteries a lot. Looks like on the Citroën PSA group batteries, it looks like it's going to be 𝐶ATL LG, so South Korean and Chinese batteries being used. Both phenomenal products, you know, and working very hard to develop the new and the later products. But you know, with the work that 𝐶ATL, and I mentioned, you know, a number of times, you know, one of the largest automotive manufacturers in the world, Chinese, LG, South Korean, and these guys are between them becoming the provider of choice in a lot of cases for battery power. I mention it because, you know, that coupled with a 100 kilowatt power pack, 100 kilowatt motors and a 75 kilowatt power pack, it just gives this van such a credible pedigree that I can't really describe how pleased I am to be running around in a product like this, and how pleased I am to have on our Pro Green fleet. You know, Pro Hire and Pro Green, you know, and hopefully you know by now that what we try and do is bring you things we're operating with and running ourselves, and have got a passion about being able to run with you on your fleets and develop the programs for you. This is by no means an exception. The next project for us is turning this this type of vehicle into refrigerated, and then being able to run a TCO model across the major last mile deliveries for temperature control vehicles with using this product. And if you've got a fridge on here that's giving you a return of 200 miles a day, you know, this is capable of running any major city with any clean air zone and giving you a great return. I say it a lot, looking at the way that we operate going forward and looking how we operate in the future. Some of the models that you currently operate will need to change, you know, and you need to think about that sooner rather than later, because it's the worry I have is that a lot of companies at the moment are sleepwalking into some of the biggest changes that are going to come, and they're not 2030 first, they'll be 2025 and then into 2030. And as these clean air zones start to become more and more tight, and more revenue streams are brought into it, but you know, avoiding the cost daily, you know, a van like this, certainly in London, can contribute £300 a month. You know, on fuel, absolutely, again, you know, something of another couple of £100. So you could actually contribute to your model £500 a month by just using an electric van. So great opportunities here. For those who've seen some of our recent videos, and one of them was the Juice Buster. You know, we're not even at the moment having to fit in major lead chargers. That equipment can charge this van at 7 up to 22 kilowatts, so, and can be provided on contract hire with the van, including in the cost, and we're happy to help you on that journey with it as well. But it's you know, it's great, it's exciting, and I think from a commercial perspective, we talk about cars quite a lot, because obviously I think what I find the most interesting about the electric car side is the technology is developed there first, always, you know, and 90% of the technology you find in commercial vehicles has originated from the car side, because that's where the big money and the big developments are always going to be first, and being able to join them up and have a real understanding of what's coming down the line is key for us. But you know, I do hope you do like what we do, and I would love you to subscribe and like our channel if you can, and of course ask the questions, and if we'll do anything we can do to ensure we answer them to the best of our ability. And it's certainly a great pleasure to be involved with companies who are absolutely interested in being on that sustainable journey. You know, ESG, CSR now is becoming some of the biggest topics, and your customers out there are pushing hard as well to ensure that sustainability is part of core businesses. And for that, it's an exciting thing to do, and I've been doing this a very long time now, and more people are, there's so much new technology, so many new things coming every day, and the more and more people are getting involved, the more exciting it becomes. So it's really great. We're going to carry on, and we'll speak to you again soon. Take care. So we've on day 2, and we've had a really good 24 hours with this particular van. I started off here in Stoke yesterday morning at this time, and we've ran the van for pretty much a full shift into Manchester, then around 30 drops, and back out and back into Stoke this morning. The vehicle's been covering on this particular trip 3.4 miles per kilowatt hour, which on a commercial vehicle is pretty decent, but it's pretty good for a car, never mind a commercial vehicle. So in a recap, we've got a van that carries more than a tonne, 1.2 tonne it says. We've got a range, as we currently add up, and we can show there, of 231 miles it says it will do. Now I haven't done that quite that in it, but it's showing a run route of that at 3.4 miles to the kilowatt hour. So it's a great van. There's a couple of bits and pieces I want to show you before I sign out, which I think are pretty good as well. So we've opened this little cover here, whereas, you know, I think initially when I saw the cover, I thought, oh, a nice little place to put your cable. However, it isn't. What actually we have is extra storage, which is amazing. And I love this. And the seat pops up. I love that bit. That's really quite excellent. Really well thought out van. And you know, another bit of storage here is on the other side for somewhere you put your butty box. So really good, excellent van, all round, love it. Commercial vehicle, well thought out, well done PSA. Last thing for me, cable tidy, nicely done. I think if anything, of all the cables you see, they're normally quite soft and pliable. This is a bit hard and plastic and a bit rubbish. But hey, we can't have everything. So as I said before, really nicely done. On the charging point, quick type 2 into there, into our charging. You see it's a bit hard. I mean, in the winter that'll be quite unfriendly. Play in, job done, plugged in. Can't tell you how pleased I am with the van. Really great, fantastic mileage, well turned out, great payload. It's not the cheapest van, it's not the most expensive, but it's a van you can use every day, all day, without worrying about it. And that's a big improvement. And for those who maybe remember watching us a couple of years ago, we showed a van that was barely able to do 110 miles. And in fact, we thought we were going to run out, and we had to just nurse it around. This van, you can do pretty much what you want with it. So again, thanks for watching. If you can subscribe, we'd love you to. Please like what you want. Any questions you want to ask, please shout. All the information on either contract hire, rental, and all the details of the vehicle are available on our website. And here's the end of another one. It's a bit short, but we can't get a lot in 20 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever we've got. So really appreciate it. Any information, anything you want from us, please shout. Speak to you again soon. Take care.